Hey guys, I'm Chef T-Max. Welcome back to the kitchen. Today, a great dish, Coq Au Vin. You guys have heard about it. How many of you done it at home? We're gonna do it right now. Stay with me. Click subscribe if you're not doing that already. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video and ring that bell and I'll send you new things I have coming up. So I'll see you back in a second for some beautiful Coq Au Vin. Okay guys, Coq Au Vin. The first step is marinating your chicken. Now, you can use, it's really better to use kind of bone on, skin on chickens, or maybe take a whole chicken, you can even cut it up into chunks and then have the bones of that chicken to make a stock from, and then the chicken itself will be set. But you know, I had some boneless, skinless chicken breasts or chicken thighs in my fridge, so that's what I'm using. It's gonna be a little bit healthier that way. Just because you don't have that chicken fat and the chicken from the chicken skin, but you're also losing that beautiful flavor. But I will get nice flavor from having the thigh on the bone. I'll also get nice flavor because I made a beautiful chicken stock that I'll show you a little bit later. But now what I've done is taken the chicken and marinated it in red wine, a bottle of red wine overnight. I like to use a Cabernet Sauvignon for this, but you guys can use whatever red wine you happen to have. I like a darker one. It makes the meat on the chicken a little bit darker. Now, traditional old school style Coq Au Vin would be made with a roux or with flour on the chicken. So now, after you've got the chicken here, you could either put flour on the chicken and when you sear it to create like a kind of a almost a thickening agent, or you could put in a roux. You could make a roux and put that in, or you could just dust it with some flour. That would give you that old school texture, but I like to do it more healthy than that. Seeing that we are using the beautiful thighs without the skin on there, so I don't want to put any added, unneeded carbohydrates in there that we don't need. So it's just gonna be just vegetables and chicken. Keep this thing somewhat healthy, right? It is all natural food that we're making. That's going to make it already more healthy. So in my pan here, I'm going to turn this on. Now, you can see what I've done here is I've got some bacon. So I've diced up some bacon. I've rendered it down so the bacon is crispy and it's kind of leached out all of the fat. Now right here, I've got some thyme and bay leaf. So here's my thyme right from the garden. I've basically tied a string around my thyme, the hard stems on that. That way the little leaf, as this cooks, will drop off into the stew, but then the hard stem is not going to be in there later for us to get out, so I can just pull the whole thing out at once. It's called a sachet, and you can put actually the bay leaves with it if you wanted to too. You could tie them in there with it. Otherwise, I'll just put 3 in. I always count how many I have, 3, 4. So I have 4 in there, so I know I've got to pull those out later because you don't want people accidentally eating bay leaves. Now, because the bacon goes in later too, I'm going to go ahead and take the bacon bits out. Now, this is a challenge for you guys. See if you can take the bacon bits out of this saute here without eating one. It's actually impossible. So just try to have one though. So we've got the bacon here. That's probably like 3 slices of bacon, diced up, sauteed. You can see all the bacon fat that's rendered. And yes, we want to keep that in there. So we're going to saute this chicken up. What I've done, I've dried it nicely like this. I want it nice and dry. And then I'm going to put salt on this chicken like this. And I'm going to put pepper. Okay, like this, really good amount. And while I'm doing this, our oil is going to get heated up. Okay, so that's got lots of salt and pepper on it, right? And then I'm going to lay this chicken in to sear it. There's one. My pan here, I might have to go into 2 batches. It looks like I'm gonna have to go into 2 batches. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces like this. and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let me try to squeeze one more into this one. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and sear this up. We want to sear it for probably a few minutes on each side. And then I'm going to do this one as well. And I'm going to show you what that looks like when we're done. So I'll be back in probably going to take about 5 minutes. So I'll see you then. Okay, guys. You can see my chicken here. This batch has already been done. This batch, I sauteed it for like a minute on each side. And I'm not looking to sear it hard. Why? Because I don't have a protective layer on that, on the flesh. And we don't want to kind of like create like a dry kind of burnt layer on the skin. That's why the skin is so nice on the chicken. So if you have it with the skin on, leave the skin on and put the skin down. And what you're looking to do, I'm going to move that to the side really quick. What we're looking to do is, you see this brown that's formed here? That's what we're looking for. So we want that. That's a good thing. So I'm going to add some diced onion to that. So here I have 1 diced onion. Now, you guys are like, how'd you dice the onion? If you're saying that to yourself, that means that you haven't watched any of my YouTube videos, because I dice onions in virtually every one. So go and check out one of my other videos and you can see how to dice an onion, okay? Because I do it every time. So this time, I just put it in there. Whoops. That was a ghost from above saying, just dice the onion for them. They need it. All right, next time I'll do it. Okay, so we have the onion in here, and I've got some carrots and celery, classic, right? So the celery leaf, the celery, you just take it like this, and we're not looking to go extra small, right? We want all these to kind of be similar shape. So I want them to be similar shape as the onions, and that's what I'm doing. You see that? Okay, so I'm gonna put that in too, because all of that needs to saute. I'll move that to the side, and these are the flavors. Now, you see on the bottom of this, I wanna make sure it's not burning, so I can add a little bit of water to that. It's not gonna affect my sauteing of the vegetables. I'm just gonna put a little bit of water and scrape that. And you see how that's gonna give me all the color from that will come out. Now, if you let that get black, then you're gonna get a bitter, burnt flavor, which you don't want, right? So you can always take a little bit of water in there to remove that layer of chicken that's been sauteing, and you give that flavor to the dish. Now, we're gonna let this saute in here for a little bit. Now, while that sautés, we're gonna work on other stuff. Other stuff would be, I've got some cherry tomatoes halved, we'll add that later in. And I've got some different vegetables that you might not use all the time, like parsnip, but a very fun vegetable. It's got a really nice flavor. They use it a lot in French cooking. And parsnips, you don't see people using them all the time, but they have this great flavor. And I'll tell you what, if you put 1 parsnip in with when you make mashed potatoes, it just makes a huge difference, right? It has a very kind of predominant flavor. And I used to put it in some potatoes, and people were like, wow, those are the best mashed potatoes I've ever had. And that's because there's just 1 parsnip in there. So I would say you see it in the store in the fall and in the winter. So try it, utilize it, okay? So I just peel it like this. It's basically looks like a carrot, right? And I cut the end off here because the end was a little brown too. And then I want to cut this into the same shape as everything else. So we're just gonna cut it lengthwise into these like long planks like this, see? How we're doing this? Long planks, somewhat even. Nobody's measuring. Nobody's gonna yell at you. You're making them Coq Au Vin. They're gonna be happy as can be when they come home and see that. So this is gonna be perfect, right? So you wanna dice it like this, and now it's ready to go in there, okay? Now, we do the same thing with a turnip. This is another thing that you see. Baby turnips you see quite often nowadays. I see it more. But the old turnip, right? That's kind of one of those old farm vegetables that people are like, what the heck do you do with a turnip? It's another one. It's got great flavor. I like them when they're smaller like this. I don't like the full-size turnips. This is like, baby turnips are incredibly sweet and nice, and I love using baby turnips. So if you have baby turnips, use those and just have them and put 6 or 8 halves in here. Otherwise, take 1 baby turnip like this, peeled it all around, and then I cut the end off and treat it the same way as the other vegetable. Now you lay it down flat so you don't cut yourself, right? And you lay it down again. I'm gonna probably cut it a little bit thinner than that, see? And then I'll cut it thin in half again. And then I cut it into these little strips, and I cut it back, and it gives me the same shape, right? Like very similar shape, right? These little chunks of baby turnip. People are gonna eat that when this is braised together, and they're gonna be like, wow, what is that? And you're gonna know, and they're gonna be super excited. So we're gonna cut this same way, and we have almost the equal amount of parsnip and turnip. So a lot of really fun vegetables here. Again, if you're making this and you don't like any, you just don't like vegetables. You're like, oh, I stick to my basics, right? So just use onions or carrots. If you don't like carrots and you don't like celery, then leave those out too. It's really what you want. It's Coq Au Vin, right? It's like, I don't know. You take it however you want it. I like to put mushrooms in this too. I just don't have any mushrooms with me. Otherwise, I'd put some mushrooms in it. So mushrooms are a great additive. All right, so this is cooking down. Some of that water is cooking out. And I want to saute this up a bit more. So this is kind of, we're not looking to put a crust on any vegetables like this because this is a stew. This is something that you're going to cook this slow for a period of time, and you're going to cook it like a stew. So all I want to do is saute these off. I need to let these saute for about 2 more minutes, and then we'll be back. Okay, guys, we're back. These vegetables are sauteed up enough. All right, at this point, I'm going to add in my turnips and my parsnips. Whoops. Wow. Well, I need a new spoon, right? And then I want to show you one more thing that I forgot over here to show you, which is a celery root. This is a celery root. It's kind of interesting, right? If you can see, these are the roots. There's the celery plant, and the celery grows up from this. But the celery root itself has a great flavor. So I buy that, and you find that in the fall a lot in the grocery store. And if you do find it, it's another great one. Makes a beautiful puree. It's also very good with mashed potatoes. Half celery root, half mashed potatoes is an incredible combination. Okay, and you basically peel it. I peel it with a knife. I think it's a lot easier to peel with a knife than it is to peel it with a peeler. You can peel it with a peeler, but I just go with a knife and I peel it. Okay. Now you can eat this raw. So sometimes I'll take it and I slice it very thin, put it with lemon juice and salt, and let it marinate, like I do zucchini sometimes, and it's a fantastic combination. The flavor of celery root is incredible. So now I'm going to just slice it smaller. I'm going to slice it into slices, and I'm basically looking for the same thing to get to the shape. Now this will discolor, so if you're cutting this up, try to cut it up right before you're going to put it in. See how that's cut up there? So we're just going to stick that in here. We see how we just do this into a couple slices like this, and then we cut it down. All these vegetables, after cooking with the chicken for a long time, are going to be done like this, okay? So we don't have to worry about that. Okay, like this. Now, I'm going to cut up the rest of this, and I think I'm going to get a little pot because I don't think that the veg is going to be ready inside of this this one cassoulet because there's a lot of vegetables and there's a lot of chicken. So let's go ahead and take a break for a few minutes, and let me put this into a pot, and I will be right back in a blink of an eye. Okay guys, I basically moved it over to this pot, and I've got some beautiful chicken stock. Look at the jiggle. See the jiggle? That means when it's not liquidy, but when it's jiggly, that means that you did a really good job of cooking it for a long time and getting a lot of gelatin in there. And I've already skimmed the fat off. I'm going to stick this in that pan where I had the vegetables over there, because what I want to do is I want to get that stock a little hot so it's ready to go. Meanwhile, we're going to add all these other veg in. So I've got those chopped tomatoes, okay? I'm going to stick in probably a tablespoon of Hungarian paprika, okay? Because I don't want to make it spicy. I just want to make a nice flavor. I'll put a little bit more. I'll put a little salt in that too, okay? And then I'm going to stir this around and get this going, okay? Now I have parsley over here, but I'm going to wait and put parsley in at the end. I'll probably let me put a little bit in, I'll put just a touch in. And I'll put it in chopped. So that'll cook with this for a really long time and be kind of disappeared by the time we serve it. But then at the end, I can put in a little bit of fresh chopped parsley too. Now, this is where we want to put in our bacon, crispy bacon. We want to put in that thyme, the bay leaf. All right, move it all around. Get all the vegetables on the bottom here. And then I've got some beautiful creamer potatoes that I've just washed them really good, and I'm going to put those in there, okay? And I'll move those around in this too. Those are raw now, okay? Because this dish is going to cook for about an hour, all right? Now the whole thought behind Coq Au Vin, why is it Coq Au Vin, right? Is because normally this would have been the rooster. So this would have been the rooster that they would have cooked from the yard. It would have been tough, and it needed to be tenderized. And the way that you would tenderize it is by cooking it in a stew for a long time. So we're not ever doing that. So we're going to cook this gently, but we're going to cook this for probably less time than you'd have to cook a traditional Coq Au Vin. But it's still going to take about 30 to 40 minutes of cooking time, okay? And we want that to cook with the vegetables here, and it's going to be beautiful. So here I'm taking my chicken, I'm layering my chicken in. You can see my pot is full, right? Now, all we're going to do now is add our hot stuff on top of it. This is my hot stock, okay? And like you can see, I have some bits of that bottom there, the brownness. I want to get all that out, and that's it. Okay? So I've got that. What am I missing? I'm missing the wine. This is the wine you marinated the chicken in. And that goes back in too. So now you've got chicken stock, that beautiful wine, all those vegetables, herbs, bay leaf, thyme, right? The only thing you could add to this is garlic. You don't have to add garlic, but garlic is very traditional in that. I'm going to put a little of my garlic paste because I ran out of garlic cloves, so I'm going to put in some garlic paste. I'm going to let this come to a boil. That's why I put this lid on. Let it come to a boil. When it comes to a boil, I will turn it down to a gentle simmer. That's just slightly bubbling, barely bubbling. With the lid on, I'm going to cook it for about 45 minutes, and I'll see you when we get back. Hey guys, welcome back. It's been about, I don't know, it's been a while. It's been about 45 minutes. Now, I'm going to take this off, this lid off. You can see how simmering this is and beautiful. I'm going to just go ahead and turn it off now because this chicken is way done. It's perfect. Cooked nice and tender. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the chicken out. There's a bay leaf. I'll pull that aside. There's one. Remember how many guys I had? 4, right? Okay. Like this. I'm going to lay this chicken in here beautiful like this, right? And then I'm going to take out, oh, there's another bay leaf. There's 2. Remember I had 4 in there, right? So if I see 4, I'm going to be loving it because I got them all. Okay, this is a parsley leaf, okay? Parsley leaves are soft, so you'll know it when you see it. I'm going to take a spoon here. You can do these together. Now, I'll show you this liquid in a second. The liquid is very, the juice in it is very liquidy, right? Because I didn't put any thickeners. And I'm going to show you a super healthy way to thicken this up. Now, you don't have to worry about pulling over excess vegetables over here because we're going to put some vegetables in there anyway. I'm going to put a lot of vegetables in there, actually. But right now, I'm going to take out my little sachet. You see the sachet of thyme? But all the little thyme leaves, you can see the stems, right? All the thyme leaves have fallen into this. And so that's what we were looking to do with that, is to allow us to use those pieces of thyme in there, but not have to worry about picking them all, right? So the chicken I'm going to pull all over here because the chicken is going to be all cooked. Here we go. Here's some chunks of chicken. I'll just put it all over here, right? Start laying that out. Okay, like this. Looks beautiful, super tender, right? Now, I'm going to show you what else I'm going to do. I'm going to take a ladle, got this ladle here, and I'm going to go ahead and take my vegetables and lay them around like this. Oh, I found another bay leaf. Yay, there we go. There's 3. There's only one more in here, guys. We can find it. That's why they said if you find a bay leaf, right, you get to kiss the chef. I think that saying was made because they didn't want anybody suing them for bay leaf getting caught in your throat. So you want to be careful with bay leaves because they are really brittle. They don't really soften up like that. So with this, I'm taking this broth, right, and I'm taking all of these vegetables out and sticking them on top of my chicken. And that gives me this nice dish with all these wonderful vegetables, the tomato, the parsnips, the potatoes, all of that. Now what I want to do is I'm going to take some of these. Oh, there's my other bay leaf. I got it. Done. All right. So I want to take some of my, some potato, right? Why? What's potato going to do? Potato gives you starchiness, right? Without having to put flour into this. And then I'm going to take some of these vegetables like this. I'm straining them like this. And I'm going to add this to my blender here. And by doing that, I'm going to be able to blend this up and create like a creaminess. Now I'll show you what that looks like. Let me just blend this really quick. Okay, I have my blender here. It's hot because I just have done that. I want to just crack it. Listen for the steam. Oh, that was kind of not as loud as I thought it was going to be, because that kind of heat normally blows the steam up. But you want to be careful. Now, you're going to see, look at this. This becomes a smooth puree. You see that? Puree of vegetables, right? And I don't worry about straining it. Why? Because all these vegetables we want in here, right? But now, what has it done to my broth? It's made it more sauce-like, right? It's made it a little creamier, right? Now I'm going to taste that and see where it leaves me. I think there's a good level of salt. I really like that level of salt. But I want to give it a little bit more body. Okay? Let me take this out. That must have been another bay leaf I had, I think, when I was marinating the chickens. I had a bay leaf in there too. A couple bay leaves. So hopefully I'll find all those. But basically what I'm looking to do now is take some of these vegetables that I have in here. And because I don't need all those vegetables to be in my stew, but I just have a small amount of them. I'm going to take some of these too. I'll take some of these potatoes here, some of these vegetables here in my dish, okay? And I'll put them in here, and then I'll add some more of my liquid. And you keep doing this till you get to the level of creaminess you want. So let me blend this and show you what that looks like. Here we go again. Okay, that one had a little bit more steam in it, right? But it's like the consistency right now of kind of a potato soup, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that around. Now you see how it's gotten thicker now? Now it looks more like a gravy almost, right? And why is it? That's because we thickened it up with these batches. If I kept pureeing all these vegetables, I can make this really thick sauce and go with just the chicken and the sauce, but we're not going to do that. We're going to leave it as is. So now I want to cut up my parsley. And again, I'm not going to cut this parsley up super fine. I'm just giving it a quick julienne here, which is kind of like cutting into one thin strip, right? And then I'm going to put it in here like this, okay? I got some here. Oh, I'll leave a little bit to garnish with on the top, right? Like that, okay? Now, what we can do, I'll move that to my side here, and I'm going to stir this in. And this beautiful parsley now is going to perfume that sauce. Now let me show you what this looks like for your plate up. So for your plate up, your guests come over. This can be, this is just your family, that's fine too. You've got your chicken here in the nice bowl. You've got, you know, beautiful potato around like this. You've got some of your vegetables on top, right? Like this. These wonderful vegetables. Tons of carrots, onions, celery, parsley, celery root, all this beautiful flavor, okay? And then we're gonna pour this wonderful sauce on top, okay? Garnish it with a little bit of fresh parsley, and that's it. It's gorgeous, super simple. You guys got to try this at home. Coq Au Vin is a French classic, and I think you're going to like it. This variation is just my fun variation, but you guys make it your own. There's a lot of different things you can put in there. Like I said, mushrooms are really good in this too, and very classic. So that might be a good call for you. If you couldn't find one of the ingredients I use, just leave it out. You can use onions, carrots, and celery. That's it. Garlic, put garlic in this for sure, and enjoy it at home with your family. I'll see you back in the kitchen soon. I'm Chef Dean Max.